Can't hear you, bro.
If Big G was here, he would have fun.
That's right.
Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome to another Monday night episode of the Hangover podcast. I'm filling in temporarily for your boy Daniel J, and we got the regular on here, the triple OG homie Shannon White. Shannon, what's happening, man?
Well, this is our first non-victory Monday, which is there's always a silver lining. So we're going to focus on some of that today.
Yeah, man, because a lot of stuff I was disappointed in yesterday with some stuff that I saw some progress in.
Yep.
So, hey, man, I'm going to give it over you to take over to start the discussion. And then when Daniel J comes in, if he makes it before we're done with this broadcast, I'll just tap out and let you guys go ahead and finish it, man.
Well, you don't have to tap out. Hey, more the merrier.
Okay.
But I told him, I said, if he makes it home in time, to hop in with us. Yesterday was a tough one. I didn't know what to expect because we all read about the typical Tomlin trap game in week 4. I think he's won like 3 and lost like however many. I don't know what it is about week 4. I think that what happens with a lot of teams is your tendencies start to show. And the opponent pick up on these tendencies. And so I think that's one of the because I remember like the Houston, Texas game last year, that was around the same time. And they come out. And what concerns me, Tate, is they look flat. They look unprepared. The other team looks really vested and ready. And they come out and they smack the Steelers in the mouth. The coaching staff looks ill-prepared. The players look like they've been listening to how great they are all week. And everybody finally started to believe in them. And then they come out and they get smacked in the mouth. And it also reminds me, I hate to say it, but of every freaking playoff game since 17? I mean, it's just they come out, well, before that, 2015. It's they come out and they just are not ready and they get behind and then they got to try to come back. So whose fault is that? Is that on Tomlin when the coaches and the players are unprepared? Or how much responsibility do they have to assume and accept that they are not ready to play? Because there's no way that if you look at the second half of the game, and we'll talk about the silver lining later in the show, but if you really look at it, that game, if they would have, Porter had a chance to deflect the pass. Porter had a chance to intercept the ball in the end zone. Pickens had a first down inside the 10 and he fumbled. Pickens dropped the touchdown pass. Fields had the ball knocked away from him for a fumble. So many self-inflicted wounds. So, is that because one team just isn't prepared? You're mute.
Man, good thing Big G not here. But man, I agree with you. But I think it's broader based. I think it's both players and coaches.
Yeah.
I think they've been reading their own press clippings. I think, and this the title of the show is appropriate. Typical Tomlin trap game. I mean, I believe we were 7-4 last year, and we went on a 3-game losing streak against all trap games. Those 3 trap games in a row.
No, that was awful. Yeah.
That was Arizona, New England, and the Colts.
Yep.
And the Steelers, if any other year, this year would be the one. They can't afford to give those games away with the back end of the schedule being as tough as it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think injuries has something to do with it too, but they just come out flat in a lot of these games, man. I don't understand. Now, I got a feeling they're going to play lights out Sunday against Dallas.
At home,
and a primetime game. I think they'll play lights out. But we can't leave these games on the field, the ones that we're supposed to win. We need to win those games.
Yes.
So,
and when you turn the ball over twice and you miss opportunities, like Queen could have recovered that fumble and he couldn't. Like I said, JPJ could have intercepted that ball and he didn't. I mean, you're missing opportunities. And if you have a -2 or worse turnover margin, you lose most games.
Most games. Yeah, and I mean, even as bad as they played, they were right there. I think if it wasn't for the miscommunication on the snap, Justin Fields took the blame, said this Zach's supposed to snap it on first move, and Justin moved his leg and Zach snapped it. I think if it wasn't for that, I believe the Steelers went down at the very least got in field goal range.
Yeah, it was looking promising.
Yeah, it was looking promising.
But I'd say, I admire Fields for taking responsibility, but this has happened 2 or 3 times now, and I am a big fan of Zach Frazier. And I know Zach Frazier is an honest young man, and I know that he didn't want to throw blame, but he said after the game he felt a tap. Well, if you watch the replay, there was never a tap. So I think that there was definitely miscommunication. Let's put it that way.
That's why I say Justin Fields accepted accountability in his press.
Exactly. And Ben used to do that.
He said it was first move, and he moved his leg, and Zach on me. So I can.
Well, see, Zach didn't say that. Zach didn't. He could have said, Zach could have said, well, he moved his leg. He just said, I felt the tap, which obviously he didn't because there was no tap.
Right.
So
Zach just, I mean, you can tell he's a young rookie. He didn't want to throw anybody on the bus.
Exactly.
That's what that was about. It was Justin Fields accepted responsibility of that. And
that's what leaders do.
That's what leaders do. That was a moment for him. I mean, it would have been a better leadership moment if he had been able to take him down and win the game. But like you said on this podcast, we're finding the silver lining in things. So
exactly.
The fact that he accepted responsibility is a silver lining. I even think the fact that Zach Frazier didn't throw anybody under the bus is a silver lining too.
It is. That's character.
Yes. That's character. Yeah. Yes, sir. So super chat from Wes. Wes, what's happening, man? Wes wants to know why we didn't offer BA more money. We need that money for Fields' new contract. 2025. Hashtag Russell Wilson.
If you stay in the backup. Russell Wilson stay the backup.
Russell Wilson stay the backup.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we didn't spend that money on BA. I don't think he's been doing much over in San Francisco since the season.
BA's with are you talking about Rudolph?
I got a feeling he's talking about Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, Brandon, yeah, he is Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, I was thinking about Rudolph because he's playing on Monday Night Football right now.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's doing good for the Titans. Levis was real erratic, and then he hurt his shoulder, and Rudolph's come in, and he's looking pretty sharp.
Oh, I came in and turned it on right to the Seahawks-Lions game.
Yeah.
That one seemed to be the more competitive one, but I'll switch back now. I didn't know Mason was playing.
But yeah, I don't. Like I said, I want to see if one, can George Pickens be wide receiver 1, and 2, if he is, you're going to have to pay him, and you're going to have to pay Fields, and you're not going to be able to keep everybody. I think if they would have brought in BA, Pickens is gone.
Yeah,
I think Pickens is the more explosive player.
Yeah, no, Pickens is. I mean, Ayuk to me is a great number 2 receiver. He's not even number 1. He had 2 really good years in an offense that has Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Deebo Samuels. I mean, so yeah, he got some numbers because he wasn't the focus of defenses. Now
Pickens has been, and Pickens just had a good game outside of the drop.
And outside of the fumble.
Yeah, well, that's true. Now, the fumble, it's crazy. When guys get tackled around the head in the helmet and they get twisted, that happens a lot. Now, the way that he fumbled was because he was carrying the ball, but he had it on the inside. But when he got slung around, he lost it. So that was a very odd play.
Yeah, it was, but George has to play with better football IQ.
Yes, that's
now
true.
I go back to Atlanta where he got lucky that his toe stepped out of bounds.
Yeah.
You left it up to him, the clock would have ran out and still would have got points going to half.
Yep.
This is the same situation, not with a clock expiring, but you got all the yards you can get. Stop holding the ball in one hand, trying to twist and turn and fight for more. Just get out of bounds and run the next play.
It was at one point there. It was, I can't remember if it was 20-3. No, it was 17-3 maybe. And I don't. When guys make a catch or make a play like a regular tackle, and then they hop up and they got to go through all these theatrics. Look at me, and they help. I'm just more old school. Especially when you drop a touchdown a few plays later, just play. If you score the touchdown, then celebrate. After the game, celebrate all you want, but we don't have to celebrate every first down. It just gets a little too much. Look at me. I'm not seeing as much of that this year with him, and I'm hopefully that's a sign of maturity.
Yeah, Claude Bishop. I won't call out your whole title on the Hangover, Claude, but you know what you are on Pump Your Brakes and the Homies.
He knows.
Claude, any Steeler fan should realize that the Steelers won't win a playoff game with those coaches, Tomlin, Austin, and Matt Canada. I don't know.
Aaron Smith is not Canada 2.0.
I would put you there, Claude. Yep. But because you were going this way on Justin Fields a few months back too.
Yep.
I think you just be patient. Tomlin has stinkers, and and the teams don't always play up. They play down to the level of teams they should be.
Yes.
But I really think that we got a good team. We're going in a good direction. And I think after this Sunday's game, the Steelers will probably be 4-1.
It's set up with Parsons injured and Lawrence injured, and that I can't remember his name, the star cornerback from last year. He's been out all year. They've had some injuries. Dallas has. So both teams are suffering. As we know, James Daniels, they found out that it didn't even look like a bad injury, but that's how them Achilles tendons are. I thought he was going to be fine, and he'd be, maybe even come back in the game, and then we find out today he's done for the year. So Fautanu's out for the year. Daniels is out for the year. So, hey, ready or not, Mason McCormick, here it comes. Yeah, Big G's wanted him starting all year. Well, we're going to find out because he's going to have to. I thought that he didn't look ready for prime time the other Sunday. Grover Stewart. Now, anybody that's ever heard anybody talk about Grover Stewart, he is a powerful man. And on one play, he pushed McCormick and Frazier into the backfield and put Frazier on his butt. Now, I haven't seen anybody do that yet this year. But Stewart's a huge man and a very strong man. He's like Hayward. And so I think that was a welcome to the NFL moment for Frazier because he's not used to having anybody playing him. But he bounced back really good from that. But McCormick, I think he missed a couple of blocks. But that's what you got to do anymore, Tate. You got to play the young guys, especially when you got these injuries, and you got to live with the growing pains.
You have to. Claude chimes in again and says the Colts had injuries too. I don't believe we're using the Steelers' injuries as an excuse. I think the Steelers left the game on the field with sloppy play.
Missed opportunities, yes.
Missed opportunities also, yeah. Not catching interceptions, Joey Porter too.
Yeah.
Not getting the fumble, Patrick Queen. The fumble by George Pickens inside the 5-yard line. And Justin Fields fumble, that didn't cost him because they missed the field goal. But he has to play cleaner than that. That was the first time this year I saw Chicago Justin Fields on that one play.
But it's always when he tries to do too much.
Tries to do too much.
Yeah, he should have just threw that in the way. That play was dead.
What do we think? Wes H is saying Najee sucks.
Well, that was another point I had. Now I'm gonna piss off some people. But when you watch a 34-year-old former wide receiver, Hall of Fame kick return specialist, who shifts to running back in an emergency a few years back, and he turns out he's pretty good at it. When he looks like your number one running back, and the guy you drafted in the first round 4 years ago looks like the backup, that's not good, Tate. Najee Harris just is a terrible fit for this offense. He cannot get outside. When they try to run him outside, he don't have the speed to get there. And the blocking, he doesn't hit the hole fast as Warren or Patterson. He's slow. He stops. And when you're already a slow player, unless you have really good burst, you can't slow down or stop even. And he stops when he gets there in the hole every time. And I just think it's a terrible, terrible fit. I understand why they didn't give him that 5th year now. I think they seen what we didn't see. So we need to get Warren back. And I didn't hear about Patterson. I don't know how bad injured he is. But they need him back because it looks like a totally different running game when you have them two guys hitting the quick hitters up the middle and flowing outside. Because Harris just can't do it.
Well, I don't disagree with you. So I don't think Najee sucks. I agree with the schematics of it all. I think if we look back to the end of last year, this is a more zone run based scheme that Arthur Smith runs.
Yes.
Najee Harris is more successful when it's a gap run scheme. When the lineman putting helmet on helmet, pushing forward, and he's just running towards the line, hitting the gap. Because like you said, he doesn't have the speed to get outside.
Yep.
So I really do think because we have Najee for this year now, we have Jaylen Warren. I think maybe we might want to implement some type of gap-based scheme on certain plays.
Like they did last year.
Yes. Have in the playbook. I mean, because yes, Cordero Patterson will come in. He's experienced in Arthur Smith's offense, but also being a kick returner, he's accustomed to his vision is better.
Yeah.
Right? His vision is better. Yeah. So
I tell you, I think that when Tomlin and him seen Najee Harris, they envisioned Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Similar size. But when I keep saying it, when Harris did not run the 40 at any point leading up to the draft, there was speculation. And I heard people say, oh, he's 4.4. Well, he obviously isn't even close to 4.4. He might be 4.6s. Yeah. And that's the difference. Harris has got all the heart in the world, but he just don't have that extra gear. And there's times that he needs it, and it's not there when he needs to get around the corner.
If he didn't have the heart, which, like you said, he has the heart.
Yeah.
He'd be like a former Alabama running back that didn't make it because he did lack heart. Eddie Lacy. Remember Eddie Lacy?
Eddie Lacy. But Eddie Lacy, he ate himself out of the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, he was a big back with no speed, but he didn't have the heart that Najee has.
Yeah.
But Quad Father, Dennis Pavlov, he's a right guard away, and when Siamala comes back, that's where he will be. Who are we talking about?
I think he was talking about Siamalu. But Siamalu, who's been left guard for the Steelers the whole time.
Yeah, he'll continue to be left guard. Hope he comes back this week. I like Mason McCormick getting an opportunity. I think he'll take some lumps early because he's new. But I think after a game or two, or even after the bye, he'll be a better option than what James Daniels is.
If you look on the depth chart, McCormick is listed as James Daniels' backup at right guard. So he'll just stay at right guard.
Says John Edberg says Queen isn't playing right either. He looks lost. The green dot might be too much.
How long have I been saying it? I said it all preseason, and I've said it all year. It is paralysis of overanalysis. If you give a guy who is an instinctual player and you put that green dot on his helmet and he's got to worry about formations and getting people in the right positions and all, they shut down. Now, Roberts can do it, and Peyton Wilson is a natural. And we know Cole Holcomb, if he comes back at some point, can do it. The last guy that needs that green dot is Patrick Queen. And I think this, a lot of times things go back to Tomlin and his stubbornness. Yeah. Like when he threw the red flag on that one play, there was no evidence either direction because we didn't even get a replay. And I knew they didn't get a replay there at the stadium. And he threw the red flag because the two Steelers defenders got up and said it hit the ground. So, but they always say that. Every defender swears they never created a penalty. They never really, made a mistake. And they always say the ball hit the ground. So he throws the flag and you lose the timeout. So there's some things that he does repeatedly. Time management is an issue. But he does things repeatedly out of stubbornness. And I think that we're seeing it in some of these personnel decisions. And so I'm hoping that we got a little bit of it out of the way. He was leaving the field, and the reporter asked him, what was he going to do in the second half, and was he concerned? And he's like, we're not concerned in the slightest. We'll go in. We just got to play cleaner. We'll make, and they come out and they played better. But he needs to be concerned.
I agree. The comment, AFL 67, Smith is being too stubborn. We don't have a good enough O-line or running back to be a running team, so stop trying to do that. Well, you got to do it. I mean, you can't just drop back with Justin Fields or Russell Wilson to air it out. You have to have a commitment to a run game, kind of like the other week against the Chargers. They was getting stuffed and shut down in the first half, and even early into the third quarter. Then as the game went on, they kept commitment to the run game. Stuff started to open up. Yeah. And that's what you have to do. You could mix more play action in there. You could pass a little more, go a little more 50-50, but you can't abandon the run no matter who's injured on the line and what running back is in there.
Well, I think Patterson in the first half, prior to the injury, had 53 yards. So I think that, it's not the running game or even the calls. Sometimes it's the offensive line, but that's going to happen with the young guys and all the injuries. But I'm telling you, Patterson looked really good running behind that line.
He can't carry it 20 times, though.
No, but he looks good when he does. But Harris he does not fit it. Right. And I see Wes is saying, what running back in the NFL currently is a good example? Well, there's different guys that can get to that edge. It's perfect for a guy like Aaron Jones, Pollard, who's with the Titans now.
Austin Eckler.
The guys that can get that edge, they got that little bit of quick. Like I said, Patterson do it. Hey, Warren's going to do it. When Warren finally gets healthy, Warren is going to take over at the running back. You watch.
I think
Warren will take over. And Harris is just not a good fit.
I think so. So, Super Chat, Last King of Scotland. Another one of our loyal viewers that was against QB1, Justin Fields. I ain't forgot, Last King. Thanks for the Super Chat. 599. Steelers start slow Sunday is going to get ugly. I don't think they'll start slow. It's a night game. It's a primetime game. They always perform well. It's a big game. It's probably the game of the week, Cowboys Steelers. I mean, just the history in that rivalry, how many times they played in the Super Bowl. I like the Steelers in the game.
I like it better now that Fields is becoming established. His mobility will help neutralize the pass rush, and the Dallas's 2 top pass rushers are out. So
Right.
I do like that a lot better. I'm not scared of Dallas's running game, which we knew Taylor and Richardson could be a problem. But we got to remember, guys, they picked on Joey Porter Jr. all game. Most teams avoid him.
Well,
they went after him all game.
They went after his side because the Steelers were playing zone.
Yeah. But even in that, they were trying to set up Richardson by having him drop into the zone late. Mm-hmm. Like on the very first pass, if he'd got better depth, he could have intercepted that ball. And but that's not his specialty, his zone. And I like it when they just match him up man and turn him loose. But he was struggling, and we're not used to that. Patrick Queen, again, is not making impact plays because I think he's thinking too much. They held, tackled, whatever they had to do to neutralize Watt. And Herbie is a full-time starter. He made a play or two, and I thought he did good trying to set the edge. But the Colts interior line is really good. And they pushed around Benton and Hayward, manipulated them, and created running. Most of the good runs was up the middle or right off tackle. And that was worrisome because, Quentin Nelson's probably the best guard in football.
Yeah, Quentin Nelson's really good, but I've seen Cam ragdoll him before too, though.
Yeah, but that was when Cam was younger. I mean, Cam played a great game. Don't get me wrong. But because there was times he was doubled. And when one of those guys doubling you is Quentin Nelson, you got a problem.
Shannon, this is Matrix worthy from Tyrone Johnson.
Oh boy. Hey, I'd do it right now, Tyrone, but it ain't happening.
Why?
Where do we sign?
Why would Dallas do that one?
Ooh.
I love it for the Steelers.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the money don't match. I mean, CD just got like 32, 33 million a year.
Yeah.
Now he's making like 5. So
that would be wonderful, but it ain't happening. But I'd love that. But you got to give the old guy Flacco some credit.
You do.
I mean, he's had games like that against the Steelers, and I mean, every time it was 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, he'd throw a 9-yard pass. I mean, he just
see. This is another one where I will fault Coach Tomlin and Terrell Austin. We always hear about you don't live in your fears.
Yep.
Man up, put pressure on Flacco. If you got to send 5, send 5. If you got to send 6 and leave both Jackson and Porter Jr. on the island with Minka out there as safety help, because you got the other one in the box. If you let Flacco stand in the pocket, 1, 2, 3, drop back, throw off his back foot, he gonna kill you more than not.
Oh yeah.
You have to put pressure on him and make him roll right or left, make him evade pressure. He's not as accurate.
Yeah.
You're more prone to get sacks on him than you would have been Anthony Richardson.
Definitely.
So I think they went about that all the wrong way once Flacco came in the game.
Flacco's still got the arm, guys. I mean, it's like an old power hitter. You pitch him different because if you make a mistake, he can hurt you. And that's how Flacco is. I mean, that guy can still rip it. He could grip it and rip it. And he did. Enough to win the game.
Right. You know the answer to that, Shannon? Afton. Shout out to Afton, one of the chat generals everywhere. But how much of our D was Tampa 2?
It's the Steelers don't play a ton of Tampa 2. They really don't. They have one of the safeties rotate up a lot. And Fitzpatrick was that guy. And I thought for sure he would get an interception. And he might have with Richardson if he would have stayed in the game. Because Richardson has utter belief in that cannon he's got hanging off his right shoulder. But when he went out and Flacco and they already had the lead, I was like, uh-oh. Because I had a feeling Flacco would protect the ball.
I think Flacco's last appearance that I remember was that playoff loss to Houston when he was in Cleveland. And he threw 2 pick-sixes because
Yep.
Houston was applying pressure to him.
Yeah, and they made him move off his spot. Yeah.
So, hey, real quick, man, this is a breaking point. Let's get to this comment from Wes. We're going to take a quick break. You know, if you're watching on YouTube, we're not going anywhere. We're just going to hear a few words from our partners on the audio side. But before we go, this comment from Wes H. In some ways, Justin Fields has looked better through 4 games in Pittsburgh than he has looked in 3 years in Chicago.
Definitely.
I would agree.
Definitely. One of the things,
in ways, in all ways.
Yeah, one of the things we were talking about, the silver linings, is I told everybody on our Slack channel and my family, I was like, well, when you're behind like the Steelers are, you can throw the game plan out the window. They're going to have to open it up and say, Fields, see what you can do. And he led 3 straight touchdown drives.
Yeah.
3 straight. And he had him in good position before the botch snap to maybe get down and tie that game. So I feel more confident in Fields. I heard people say, well, is it time for Wilson? What? Wilson at 35, 36, he going to get killed behind this line.
Yeah, get killed, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Fields is playing clean, smart football for the most part.
Let's pause right there, go to the break, come back and talk. I got a question for you.
All right.
So, hey, if you listen to audio platform, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, we're going to take a quick break here, a few words from our partners. We'll be right back after this.
Can't hear you. Man, Big G gonna be all over you.
All over me, man. What I said was thanks for joining us back on the Hangover podcast as we review the Steelers' 24-27 loss to the Indianapolis Colts in a typical Tomlin trap game.
Yep.
So we've talked about some of the things that went wrong. I believe when Shannon, before we cut the break, Shannon was talking about Justin Fields playing better and Russell Wilson not needing to get behind his line.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we have Russell Wilson. And, you know, him being the number 2, that's great to have his experience and his leadership over there. Another set of eyes that he could, you know, say, Fields, I'm seeing this. Did you see that? You know, that other quarterback can be a valuable resource to a young quarterback like Fields. But, I mean, what do we see? Is that 3 or 4 touchdowns rushing by Fields already?
I think it's 3.
Yeah, I mean, and there's opportunities there for some big plays. He's run for a lot of first downs. So those are things that Wilson's not going to be able to offer. And right now we're seeing Pickens is getting open, but he's getting extra attention. Calvin Austin is made some good plays. But Freiermuth is their number 2 guy. And they need somebody else to step up. Can that be Roman Wilson eventually? We hope so. But Wilson's a guy that needs – let's think, guys. Look at the receivers he had when he was on that Seattle team. And they were really, really good.
Yeah.
Look, you know, he's always had the receivers. And right now, I don't know if he would have that in Pittsburgh, especially with their lack of a running game, with all the injuries and running back in the offensive line. This is not the time to even think about Wilson.
Yeah, we don't want Russ cooking.
No.
Hey, I don't know that Dennis Pavlak, the Quad Father, has ever posted a Matrix-worthy comment. He's the anti-Claude. Because I completely agree. Honestly, we would have scored. Thanks for the super chat, Quad Father.
Definitely.
Honestly, we would have scored 31 points if Pickens doesn't fumble. This is a much better offense. I completely agree.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That's why you're the anti-matrix.
Yes.
Paul will come here and say something totally ridiculous with hot takes and big G type burners. That's what Claude does.
But I swear, guys, I have to laugh sometimes when Fields rolls blindly to his left, when the pressure comes, something because he's got that athleticism and Pickett didn't have. But when he does that, I can't help but think of Pickett.
That's what I said last night on Know It All podcast, talking about Justin Fields' fumble. I said, he was going wrong when he pulled a Kenny Pickett. That was a Kenny Pickett move. He just had a little more speed to get it a little deeper and dig himself a bigger hole, because he actually kind of ran away from the defense before he tripped up. But that's not what you want to do. You want to stand in the pocket, roll and run forward, or throw the ball out of bounds. Justin Fields should start, but can they realistically win anything with that guy now or in the future? And I see that you guys are hating on Dan. Dan Moore, I guess who he's talking about?
Yeah, it's Dan Moore. Yeah.
I think Justin Fields is the quarterback of the future. I think he's proven through 4 games he's getting better every week.
And he's doing things that everybody said he couldn't do. But he got to Pittsburgh, and again, he's going through his progressions. Multiple times, he threw to the second and third option across the middle. Those were things that before when they picked up Fields and they picked up Wilson, everybody's like, you got 2 guys who don't like play action and don't like throwing across the middle. Remember?
Yeah.
But now we're seeing Fields do play action when the line gives him time, and he's throwing over the middle, on time. And he's developing. He's finally developing after 3 years with the Bears. He's finally developing as a quarterback with the Steelers. And lest we forget, guys, who would have said, let's go out and get Sam Darnold? Oh, yeah, we want Sam Darnold. Well, Sam Darnold is 4-0 with the Minnesota Vikings, and he's like the highest rated quarterback in the NFL. I mean, some guys, it just takes a change of scenery, a better culture, and a better environment. He found it in Minnesota. Fields has found it in Pittsburgh.
West H, Justin Fields. I think as long as he continues to play smart and he's getting more decisive about running, yes, we can win a lot with him. I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
I think ultimately, and I've said it before, I've been on record to say, Justin Fields, I'm not saying that's who he is, but he can do everything Lamar Jackson can do.
Oh, definitely.
I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson. I'm saying, but with more time, more experience, more polish, he can do everything Lamar Jackson can do.
Oh, definitely. And then what about this one, Tate? Queen has been the biggest disappointment to me. Kevin Osborne. I don't know how anybody could argue that. Because I think we all thought by this week 4, we were going to see, that thumper, that aggressive downhill style. And I'm still saying it's the green dot, guys. I mean, some guys just cannot.
How do you remedy that?
To give it to Roberts, give it to Peyton Wilson. I'm telling you, Peyton Wilson, he is not a rookie, other than that this is his first year. But as far as maturity, experience, he's 24. And all the college ball he played. And like at rookie camp, he was calling out all the schemes, all the formations. And they couldn't believe it. He knew it at rookie camp.
I don't disagree with you. I think Peyton Wilson can handle it, but he's not on the field every snap. So what do you do when he comes off the field and Roberts comes on?
Well, I think he ought to start over Roberts. I like Roberts, and Roberts is a great backup, and he's really good for, those late blitzes up the middle and for the run defense. But Peyton Wilson's going to be the star, guys. Peyton Wilson's going to be. Don't be shocked when maybe in my next year we say Peyton Wilson is better than Patrick Queen.
Okay, I can see that. He's really good right now already.
Yep.
Mark Tobin. I think we need to review Seattle tape of Russ and do a lot play action. Sean Payton's offense is bombs away. Always has been. Yeah, they did run play action. I mean, I think that's That's one thing I think Justin Fields has to work on this offseason is to take snaps from under center. I think that's something he has to do because play action, I believe, works better. I don't think it works as good from the pistol or out of the shotgun.
No, it does work better under center, yeah.
Right. But yeah, I don't think we have to review Russ tapes. I think we know where Russ is. I think Russ is that quarterback, under center, play action, deep moon ball. That's what Russ does. It's what he always does. Sean's Payton offense didn't work for him. It's not working too good for Bo Nix either, but they did get a win yesterday.
Yeah, but you see his numbers? He was 12 of 25 for 60 yards.
I saw one time he had -8 yards. I can't remember what the passing percentage was, completion to attempts, but yeah, he was really bad yesterday.
I mean, that was a game that the defense won was for both teams. It was all defense. Denver made Rodgers look bad. And think about it, Fields looked good against Denver to the second half. It wasn't for all the penalties. And so, again, Atlanta's played well. Steelers dominated. Denver, it showed some life. Steelers really dominated that game.
Yeah.
The Chargers played the Chiefs tough, and they just lost at the end. It really come down to yesterday, just missed opportunities and digging himself a big hole.
The Chargers lost to the Steelers by more points than they did to the Chiefs.
Yeah. Here's another thing, Tate. Did you see the 4th and 1 that they rushed into and then they didn't make it? It was a pistol snap, and they had McCollum in the game as an extra tackle. He totally whiffed on his block. That's the guy that stopped Fields. And he was trying to run up there, didn't even have a lead blocker. Why don't you just get on the line and tush push it? Fields is strong and athletic.
Did you hear me say a couple minutes ago, Justin Fields can do a lot of the stuff Lamar Jackson can do?
Yes.
He also can do everything Jalen Hurts can do.
Exactly.
So I don't know why they don't get up under center and just do the tush push. Fields will get you that 6 inches.
And trust me, Frazier can clear space.
Frazier will clear the space.
Frazier will clear space, yes.
Well, I didn't like when they did that against Atlanta and got stopped inside the 5-yard line.
I didn't either.
Fourth down.
Yep.
And like I said, he has to work on his under center, get under center, taking snaps.
But one thing we was going to talk about, I'm really concerned is injuries could derail a promising season. And my son was like, is it the strength and conditioning coaches? I said, no. The Steelers went 2 years in a row and only had like one guy miss more than one game or two on the offensive line. They've been, really fortunate.
Right.
But what happens is eventually it catches up with you. And now there's 2 starters that's out for the year. Well, that were projected starters. Obviously, Daniels and Fuatanu. And so that depth that the Steelers had is going to be tested. So people was like, well, they go get another wide receiver too. Well, guys, right now, they might need another offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So there's different areas they can look to maybe make a trade. But the injuries are concerning, but you can't control that. We've seen team seasons decimated in recent years. The teams that we thought were going to be playoff teams. That could be the Steelers this year. I hope not. But did you hear what Deshaun Elliott said after the game?
What did he say? I didn't hear what he said.
He said that he called out the practice habits of some of the players. You know how tired I am of hearing that? We've heard that for about 3 years in a row to 4. About, last year was Fitzpatrick called out the practice habits. And I can't remember who it was the year before.
Najee too.
Najee, yep. What I'm saying is What else do you got to do that's more important than work on your game? You're making millions of dollars to play a sport, and you practice for a couple hours. What is more important? I mean, why can you not focus for that period of time? And if you got a guy who just come to the Steelers and Deshaun Elliott, and he's already frustrated enough to mention it, then that says a lot. That there is problems there.
Shannon, Kevin Osborne has a question. Why isn't LeGlue playing?
But one, he's on the practice squad, and we don't want to see him playing unless there's a real problem.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him playing.
I mean, I like the young man, but you think the line that he did play on was one of the worst in Steeler history, and Emily got being killed. So, I mean, here's the thing. McCormick and Anderson hopefully can handle this right guard. And hopefully one of them will seize the position, and the other one will be a really good interior backup. And they can get through this if Samalu comes back. Yeah. But we got to remember, the Steelers have Samalu, they have McCormick, but they also picked up Doug Nestor. Now, Doug Nestor played with Frazier at WVU, and he was a tackle at WVU, but his NFL position will be guard. And actually, I think Doug Nestor is better than the good. So they're both on the practice squad, but if anybody come up, I think Nestor will come up first.
Okay, and I like Anderson too, but I like McCormick to take it over and flourish in a few weeks.
Yes, he just needs time.
Yeah.
He needs reps, definitely. And do you see where they signed Calvin Anderson?
I like him too.
He played for the Patriots, and so they've got Spencer Anderson, but they also got Calvin Anderson, who has experience starting at tackle. So you feel better until Cook comes back. So Cook should be back in a couple of weeks, maybe. So I think we'll be okay there.
Super chat. Thanks for the $10. Sco6 Trey. He says, FYI, guys, I guess to those of us listening and talking and listening, Minnesota and others wanted Fields, but the Bears GM, Ryan Poles, sat in his hotel room during the NFL Combine with his phone turned off. Per reports from Courtney Corin, don't believe the false narratives. I think the false narratives being that Justin Fields didn't have a market is what I'm taking from that.
Well, yeah, he's right. Or because Fields said 4 teams showed interest in him. The Chargers, which shocked me. The Ravens, which shocked me. The Vikings didn't shock me, and the Steelers. But he wanted to come to Pittsburgh because he wanted to play for Mike Tomlin.
Right, yeah.
And thankfully he did. And thankfully that's how it worked out. Because in the long run, that's going to be better for his career.
I agree. And for the Steelers. I think,
yes.
I don't know I was trying to look and see what Mason Rudolph was doing. But yeah, man. So you got any other things you want to cover, Shannon?
Well, we was talking a little bit about the silver lining, and so my silver lining, and I know you agree because we've already talked about this a little bit here on the show, but Justin Fields, I feel more confident that if required, he can make those big plays, scramble out, keep his eyes downfield, make the big throws. He had a couple more beautiful throws. He had one when he rolled to his left, threw it, going to his left, a strike to Pickens, where if the guy hadn't made the shoestring tackle, Pickens scores there. Then he hit Pickens with the one about 40 yards down the other sideline from the pocket, which I like to see that when he hits him from the pocket. But Fields is showing so much that he did not show in Chicago. And let's be honest, he doesn't have the receiving core. At one point there in Chicago, he did have DJ Moore, and they had a good connection. Moore had 1,200 yards.
Well, I think that was last year, and that was DJ Moore's They're only
whatever.
three.
And if Fields had a couple of 4 touchdowns, yeah, he had a couple of 4 touchdown passing games. So it's there. There's a balancing front. If he can stay within the confines of the offense and develop his chemistry with these receivers, I like how he was hitting Harris out of the backfield. That was beautiful because you get Harris and Warren the ball like that, they can do something with it out in the open.
I think I agree with you. To Claude's comment, I think once again, per usual, Claude is wrong.
Yeah.
I think the Bears and Ryan Poles as general manager, they want to do right by Justin Fields.
Well, they did. They
They
did.
essentially let him pick where he wanted to go. Far as my silver lining, Shannon, it kind of aligns with yours. I guess it's kind of the same thing. But the silver lining for me is that I saw the offense do something yesterday.
Yes.
You would have told me Justin Fields throws for 312, runs for 55, 2 touchdowns, throws for another touchdown. There's no way I think the Steelers lose. No way. But I feel like the defense let us down yesterday. The offense made a lot of sloppy mistakes. Pickens fumble, Fields fumble, the bad snap. But if defense does what the defense typically does, we would have won. So
yes.
I find the silver lining in what the offense was able to do yesterday in the second half.
Well, like I was mentioning there a second ago when we had a little signal issue, Mount Washington, this is what we've been waiting on, Tate. This is what me and Big G's been screaming about. Get Washington the ball, and guys are going to have trouble tackling him. Because he's big.
How many receptions did he have yesterday?
Huh?
How many receptions did he have yesterday?
2, I think.
But that one he caught and ran down the sideline and jumped over somebody.
Yeah.
Get him the ball.
Oh, yeah. Got to feed him. And the one thing to take advantage of the way they were putting all that pressure, they were sending an extra guy every play. To take advantage of that, you got to hit the seams quick with your tight ends. And that's what I want to see him do. Hit Washington up the seam with momentum, and then let's see him bounce off.
Right. So, Skull 6 Trey again. Thanks for the $10 super chat, man. We really appreciate you, bro.
Yep.
TBT. What's TBT?
I'm old. What, to be truthful? I don't know.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
4 teams were the only teams remaining that wasn't willing to kiss Ryan Poles' butt. Minnesota was at the top of the list, along with Atlanta and Pittsburgh. The truth will come to light. Atlanta was in the market for Fields until they signed Kirk Cousins, and they didn't need him anymore.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why Chicago would have traded him inside the division. They have to face him 2 times a year.
Yeah.
Going forward. So, those options. And Fields wanted to play in Pittsburgh for Tomlin, and Tomlin liked Justin Fields. Just go back to his pro day.
Yes.
But the Steelers were never going to be able to pick in a position that they could get him. So, and I said when we were talking about it on other shows and back and during the offseason, Shannon, I was willing to give up a second or third. And I'm glad that's why con man's the con man.
Yes.
Glad he got him for a 6th. Looks like it's going to turn to a 4th, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah. We'll take it.
And the starting quarterback, you're okay with that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But Skull 6 Trey, thanks for the $10 super chat, man. We really appreciate you.
Definitely.
So let's just go through some more of these comments in the live chat, Shannon. We got about 5 minutes left. If any team would have offered a third, he would be on another team. Don't fool yourself. Well, that's one thing for sure, Claude. We'll never know. All I know is that Ryan Poles said we want to do right by Justin. That's the part we do know.
Yes.
Afton, what's Afton saying? He had the Superman reception in the hop. What's it say?
The hop along.
Hop along. Hop along while carrying guys. Who we talking about, Afton?
Well, remember he stiff armed the first guy.
Oh, we're talking about Darnell Watson. Yeah.
He Steph already, and then he just leapfrogged the tackle.
He did. I didn't the contact. I didn't realize what we were talking about. Real quick, AFL 67. Let's go positive for wishes. What if Jones, Frazier, McCormick, Anderson, Faitanu all turn out to be great with young? I think they will be good. I think they just need time to mesh together and more experience.
And health.
Obviously, health, yes.
Yeah.
Another $10 super chat from Sco6 Trey. Man, everybody in the live chat, y'all let Sco6 Trey out, do y'all, man. Somebody might want to go ahead and do another big super chat to back Sco6 Trey up a little bit. Hey, but he says Ryan Poles turned off his phone during the combine where all general managers were assembled. So the general managers turned off their phones, therefore killing the Justin Fields market. That could be a possibility. But I don't. If Poles turned off his phone, he already knew what he was going to do then. So he didn't care what nobody else was willing to offer. He already knew, had talked to Justin Fields probably.
And knew what Fields wanted. Yeah.
Was about what Fields wanted.
I think that was definitely it. Listen, we've seen a market for Kenny Pickett. We've seen a market for Mason Rudolph. We've seen, and we're talking about Justin Fields, who is arguably the most talented and athletic quarterback to come out in quite a few years. You got him, Anthony Richardson, Lamar, and I think Fields throws better than Lamar. And Richardson is athletic, he's even tall, but I don't think he, especially yet, he don't have the progressive that Fields is starting to become.
I agree, and I even think I'll go one further, just a little bit of big G-ish. But Justin Fields is playing right now like the best quarterback to come out that draft, and Trevor Lawrence was in that draft.
Yeah,
he's not playing Trevor Lawrence right now.
Yeah. And there was different people that said that Fields would be better. Now, I was not one of them. I was a believer in Lawrence, and I still like Trevor Lawrence.
I'm a believer in Trevor Lawrence.
But I think he needs a better team around him, just like Fields needed a better team around him. And now Fields has it.
I do think Fields should have been the number 2 quarterback off the board, though.
Oh, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
Ahead of Mac Jones and whoever else went.
But at one point, Kevin, people were like, Ohio State quarterbacks, they don't pan out. They don't pan out. Well, they do now. Justin Fields, CJ Stroud. We're seeing it. They're panning out now.
Right. The minute we gave conditional 4th round deal was done.
Yeah.
I agree.
They knew that he's going to start for Pittsburgh. They knew he was that good. He would be starting for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I tell you what I admire about his Justin Fields stance didn't change. He came after Russell Wilson was here.
Yeah.
That's what drove Kenny P up out of here. The fact that they traded for Russell.
Well, imagine that you've had the situation that Pickett had, and you see them bringing in Wilson, and then they bring in an athletic marvel like Fields. Yeah, I'd want out of town too.
Right. So, did Kenny Pickett play yesterday? I thought I heard he played yesterday.
I do not know. I didn't see.
Val Ford, thanks for the $2 super chat. We really appreciate you. Under what circumstances will we see Russell at QB?
My opinion is I think that Fields is getting better every week. And there's always going to be a stinker game in there. We know this. But, Ben had them. Every quarterback has them eventually. But unless Fields gets injured and has to come out for a bit, I think that they're wanting to grow this young team. We just talked, Afton brought up that young offensive line that could be starting next year for the Steelers. And you want that young quarterback behind that line? Because you got 4 to 5 year window guys in the modern NFL, and they got a lot of young talent. And I think they're ready to start developing it now.
Yeah, I don't disagree, Shannon. Another super chat. Oh, we did just read Val Ford.
Yeah, we
super
read
chat.
that one. Yeah.
Okay. Boy, Skull 6 Trey is on one when it keep coming to this. Justin Fields. Justin Fields cleats is in the NFL Hall of Fame, and his name is number 2 in NFL record books in his first full season as Bears starting quarterback. Yeah, he set the. Did he set the rushing record? He had the most rushing yards in a game for a QB. I don't think he got the single season record though.
I know he's in the top 3, but I don't know if he got the top.
Yeah, he's up there.
But now we're seeing him actually develop processing from the pocket. And that is what encourages me. I already knew he could throw on the run. I already knew how talented he is, how great his arm is. I knew all that. But the 2 things he's still got to do is keep staying calm and progressing and trust his blocking. And then protect the football, more when it's closing in on him.
Right.
Either throw it away or protect it.
Right.
Because if he can clean those things up, Steelers got something.
I agree. So, 6 Trey, he must be a Bears fan. He talking about he's mad at Ryan Poles. Ryan and Snake Poles stripped the roster in order to tank and lose on purpose. He's saying strip the roster after Justin Fields' rookie season. Last one. Val Ford says, heck, even Kenny Pickett has the ball from those back-to-back come from behind wins as a rookie starting QB. Okay. Well, Shannon, man, we're an hour in. If anybody's in the live chat that hasn't hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up, or Big G will make us see his algorithm sign to. But Shannon, go ahead, man, and let us know what's going on, what you got going on and all that, man.
Well, everybody want to check back with us Wednesday at 8:00. And we'll have our puppy breaks, and we'll get to see brother TJ Tate Fresh Boy Tate, and Big G, and so we don't want to miss that, and that'll be the next thing on my schedule.
Okay, yeah. Same for me. I can tell about everything else on Wednesday. So be sure to tune in and check out the Steel Curtain Network for all your Steeler news that you need, and the steelcurtain.com for all the articles and stuff. All your Steeler information. Just check it out. Lots of good stuff. So with that being said, for myself, filling in for Daniel J, and for the triple OG, Shannon White, we're going to get out of here. Shannon, man, go ahead and take us home, man. You know how you do.
2 things. One, Dennis, thank you, brother. And our prayers go out to everybody impacted by all this flooding. And it's just such a disastrous situation in Tennessee, North Carolina. But just know that you're under thoughts and prayers.